Hey gaming fans, so I got another deck profile to talk about. This is Karakuri. I used to play this deck a while ago as well. That's pretty much what I've been doing with this series so far, just kind of revisiting a lot of my old decks and trying to add some new stuff to it. So anyways, this is pretty much the style of deck that I played in the past when I played Karakuris. And all of these cards pretty much have the same idea where they must attack if able, and they're all about turning from attack mode to defense mode and pulling off a lot of effects. So anyways, let's get to the deck profile. So to start off, I got two of the new one that came out in Ignition Assault. At least that's new when I'm recording this. And I'm not going to try and say their names. They're all kind of, hard to pronounce. So I'm just going to... They're Karakuri, and they have this MDL number, so I'm just going to go by their numbers. That'll just make it easier for me. Anyways, so this is MDL 4624. So he is a tuner. He's a level 1. And he combos well with a few of the other synchro plays, because that's the other thing this deck does a lot is synchro. That's pretty much what you try to do in this deck is synchro. But essentially what the value of this guy is, it works well with your synchro monsters, because each of them come out onto the field and they special summon a Karakuri monster from the deck. So you can special summon him, bring him out, and then you can synchro into the next one up. So there's a level 7, a level 8, and a level 9 that you got to play with there. So that's pretty much my thought there. Also, the value of these guys is when they're in the graveyard, you could banish them, and you can target a Karakuri monster you control and change its battle position. So I like cards that actually have two uses, or actually have a use in the graveyard. You know, it just kind of extends the card to be a little bit more. Then we got the Searcher of the deck. This guy's probably, you know, he's one of the better ones because he just allows you to search anything that's a Karakuri card. He does have that must attack if able. And then when he's targeted for, if he's in face-up attack position, and he's targeted for attack, you change him to defense position. I think all of them have that same effect. But when this guy's normal summon, you can add a Karakuri card from your deck to your hand. And I like that it's a card and not just a monster. Because oftentimes these searcher cards, they just go for monsters. So it's really good to just be able to search any card you need. On to the next one, which I think is a really valuable monster in the deck. This guy's he's a tuner, level 3, and once per turn, you can normal summon another Karakuri for a card from your hand, which is great because that's what sets up your synchro plays. So you got him as a 3, all you need is a level 4 Karakuri, you go into your level 7 right away. But he's also got the same, when he must attack and all the other stuff. Now you have to be cautious with this deck because you have to remember these guys do have to attack, so you can't just put them in attack mode and end your turn. Let's go on to the next one. This is so his number was NDL 224. This one is the Strategist 248. He's comes in handy for a lot of reasons. He must attack and all that other stuff. But when he is normal or special summoned, you could select one monster on the field and change its battle position, which is really handy. I mean, you can change himself, you could change one of your other Karakuris to pull off an effect, or you can change an opponent's monster to defense mode if there's something really big there that you just can't get over. So it really comes in handy. And now for the level 4s. So far I'm playing this guy, the Watchdog 313 Saizan. I don't know. He's a machine tuner as well. And he's kind of a weird one. He pretty much, when you take battle damage from battle involving this card, all face-up Karakuri monsters you control gain 800 attack. So he kind of has this weird attack boost. And while he's face-up attack position, he cannot be destroyed by battle. So ultimately, you'd want him to be in defense mode when your opponent attacks. Then, if he turns to this, he doesn't get destroyed, and then he boosts up all your monsters. I think I'm really just playing him because he is a level 4 tuner. And you do need some level 4s in this deck. The other level 4s is number 236, Nasumu. He's pretty much kind of like the old cards like Mystic Tomato and all that when they die from battle, they special summon a level 4 of their archetype or whatever in attack mode. So he's really good. I mean, if you just set him on your opening turn, If your opponent attacks him, you can search out another one, you can search out another one, and hopefully if they run out of attacks, the last one you search out for will stick around on the field. Old battle trick that, still can work today. And then to round off the level 4s, I have one of the Ninja Mdale 919 Quick. He doesn't do much. He's a level 4, but when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can select one level 4 or lower Karakuri monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. So, I mean, he's 1700 attack. So if your opponent does have a weak monster out, you can attack it, pull back one of your tuners, and go into a synchro play. But mainly he's here for the level 4. And to round up the Karakuri monsters, also from the new set, Ignition Assault, is I have one of these guys right now, so I can only play one in my deck. I don't know. I think this seems interesting enough that I would probably want to play at least 2. But he's pretty much, you can target a Karakuri monster you control, change its battle position if you do special summon this card as a tuner. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of the turn except for Earth Machine monsters, which pretty much most of your Karakuri stuff is anyways. And you can only use him once per turn. So he's sort of like a Cyber Dragon, but, he does come in handy. And so that's it for the Karakuris. But I also threw in some more support, because I found that the deck was lacking, that I would pull out one Karakuri or something and I couldn't do anything else. So I threw in 3 Cyber Dragons, just because, on a turn where you have an open field, you can slap this down if your opponent has a monster, and then you can pull out one of your tuners, and there you go. You go into a whichever one you can summon depending on your tuner. And so that's all the monsters in the deck. So now let's go to the spells. For now, I'm going to go with 3 MSTs. I mean, pretty standard. I don't want spells and traps to get in my way, so I'm going to go with 3 of these for now. Because I just feel like there is still a lot of people playing stuff like that. For the Karakuri support, though, we got 3 of the Cachet. This card can be searched with that other guy that searches out any card if you really want to. But you could select one face-up Karakuri monster you control, add 1 level 4 or lower Karakuri monster from your deck to your hand, and then change the battle position of that monster. Really comes in handy. I mean, this is this is total support for the deck. It's like the reinforcement of the army, but it also adds that little extra turning the monster from whatever position it was in. Then it's got its own little draw cards. This is the Karakuri Anatomy. I'm doing 3 of these as well. Each time a Karakuri monster, his battle position is changed, what does happen a lot in this deck, you put a counter on this card, and then you can send this card from the field to the graveyard to draw 1 card for each of the counters. So it's kind of like the card that the 6 Samurais have. They have a very similar card to that. But that's your draw card pretty much for this deck. It just draws out, and it's searchable through that one guy. And it combos well with the Cachet as well, too. I threw in 2 machine duplications because you do have a lot of targets, and getting a lot of monsters on the field could be a good thing. So you can summon him with machine dupe. You can go into this guy with machine dupe. And even this guy if you really want to. And then you can go into some Xyz plays. It's really up to you. I didn't include the Xyz in this extra. Well, I included 1, but nothing that would work with that yet. Now for the 1-ofs, I have Reasoning, only because the levels are all over the place in this deck. I mean, you got level 1s, level 2s, level 3s, level 4s, level 5s. So if your opponent knows the deck, they can kind of guess a number between 1 and 5 and hope they hit the right one. But even still, just getting a monster in the graveyard might even be a good thing, even if they do choose the right number. I have 1 Desynchro. I didn't know if I wanted to play more than this 1, but it's kind of neat to work with the Synchro monsters, because you could sync them up, use their effect, desynchro them, bring their materials back, and then synchro back into them and use their effect 1 more time. So I think that's kind of interesting. One of the new equip cards that, again, I think I only pulled 1 of these too. Activate this card by targeting a Karakuri monster in your graveyard and special summon it and equip it with this card. And then, if the battle position of a face-up Karakuri monster you control is changed, the equipped monster gains 500 attack. So interesting. I kind of like it. You know, it's just like your kind of like a Monster Reborn in a sense. It's just it's a little bit immune or weak to mystical space typhoons. And of course, the real Monster Reborn because Monster Reborn. Um, I decided to run one of the Showdown Castle, Karakuri Showdown Castle. This is their field spell. It's kind of interesting. When a face-up Karakuri monster you control selects an opponent's face-up monster as an attack target, you can change that target's battle position. And then if this card gets destroyed, you can search for a level 1 Karakuri monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So it's interesting. I almost thought of building the deck around this. You know, going for like Ojama tokens and stuff and forcing them to attack mode. That would be kind of fun. You know, maybe I will after this, after I play around with this deck, you know, kind of modify it. But even just using it for its effect as a Monster Reborn, just destroying it, even with one of your own MSTs. Limiter removal, self-explanatory. It boosts up, doubles the attack of any of your monsters. As long as they're machines, which you're pretty much all playing machines, and these guys are pretty big, you know, 2800, 26, 3000, so you can OTK with this card like crazy. And the last one is an instant fusion, just to help you with your synchro plays. I don't know if the new ban list for April that's coming out this year in 2020 is going to reduce this to 1. If it does, this deck is fine. If it, you know, but if it doesn't, I might add in another one because this card's really good. And then for traps, I only have 2 traps. Originally, I was going to play like Solemn Judgments and all that stuff, but the deck was kind of tight as it is. So, Karakuri Cash-In, another new card from Ignition Assault, I believe. And, yeah, it's from Ignition Assault. You can target a Karakuri monster you control, and one effect monster your opponent controls, change the battle position of your monster. And if you do, negate the effects of the opponent's monster until the end of the turn. So it's really good. I mean, it can just kind of like stop an effect monster in its track. And then if you control a Karakuri monster, you can banish this card from the graveyard. Again, more uses from the graveyard. And target one face-up monster your opponent on the field, change that monster's battle position. And you can only use it once per turn. So I can see this having lots of great uses. So for the extra deck, I just pulled out the ones that I know I would use, and that's like the 3 of the Karakuri Synchros for sure. And they all pretty much have the similar idea where when they're summoned, they special summon a Karakuri monster from your deck. And that's why I say you can pull out that level 1. So if you go into the level 7 guy, you can pull out the level 1 and then synchro into the level 8 guy. Depending on your plays and how you want to play it, if you have Monster Reborn in your hand to bring it back from the graveyard, it's really up to you. And then each has a secondary effect, which is pretty cool. When a battle position of Karakuri monster you control is changed, you draw a card, and that's from the level 8 guy. And the level 7 guy is you can change the battle position of a monster on the field. So there's a lot of tricks you can do. I mean, when you summon this guy, I should say, the one that draws you a card, the classic move was always to pull out this guy. When he's special summoned, you can change his battle position, and then you get to draw your card. And then if you have desynchro in your hand, you could desynchro this card, and then resynchro, and then pull the same move off, draw another card. And then there's the new one from the Ignition Assault, which is the level 9. And this guy's pretty good. I mean, if you synchro summon, you could special summon a Karakuri monster, just like the other ones. Monsters you control in defense position cannot be destroyed by battle. And once per turn, if the battle position is changed of a Karakuri monster, you can target one card your opponent controls and banish it. Really good effect, really strong body, 3000 attack, limiter removal your game. I mean, that's 6000 attack. Like, I don't know how your opponent would be able to handle that kind of attack. And then for the rest is stuff for instant fusion targets. So I got Panzer Dragon, you know, he's a machine fusion, level 5. I don't know if there's any level 4 fusion monsters that are machine. If there are, I have to search, but if anybody knows, throw it in the comments below. Otherwise, I just threw a level 4 in, because then you could do other synchro plays or Xyz plays, whatever you want to do. And one Thousand Eyes Restrict, because, you know, instant fusion can turn into a monster removal if you really need it. Oops. And then we have Cyber Dragon Nova, because you can go into this guy. I mean, you got Panzer Dragon, you got Cyber Dragon, you got, you got the other guy that's a level 5, so you can get into Cyber Nova Dragon pretty easily. And, you know, those are just the ones that I pulled out that I would for sure use. You can go into a lot of, you know, XE's plays and all other stuff. There's lots you can do with the extra deck on this one, so I usually leave the extra deck quite open to how you'd want to build it. But anyways, yeah, this is kind of like my build and how I used to build, and just one that I've been playing around with. So throw some comments down below. What changes, what fixes would you do? What do you like about it? What do you hate about it? I always like to hear your comments, so leave it down below, and hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.